you put you in perspective, there are about 50,000 crimes registered every year just on Dalits, by the dominant caste. They will not sit in the same chair with them. They'll not eat food together.
India is an ancient country where old customs still run deep.
My son can't get into any college. Untouchables, even with low grades, can get in through quotas.
But the modern world is pushing in on them more and more. Some think taking a cycle rickshaw will get them there faster. Big mistake. In the city, especially in the evening, traffic just freezes and often you can't even walk through. Here, untouchable washermen work the same way they did centuries ago. Over 1,000 pieces of laundry and clothing pass through their hands every day. In the city of the dead, funeral pyres still burn by the dozens.
Families buy firewood and hand it to the workers. We don't use petrol, matches or gas. Nothing like that.
On the Ganges, special garbage skimmers now collect large debris from the water, wreaths, candles, piles of household trash. There's plenty of it here, and sometimes there are bodies too. But first, let's untangle India's complex caste system. The constitution says all citizens are equal. In reality, caste and Varna divisions still shape society. People often confuse the two. It's a complex system. Simply put, Varnas are like social classes, while castes are linked to specific professions. In Hinduism, society was originally divided into 4 Varnas: Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. At the very top are the Brahmins, priests and scholars. Next, the Kshatriyas, mostly warriors, often kings, princes, and maharajas. Then came the Vaishyas, merchants and craftsmen. And finally, the Shudras, that included servants and peasants. There are also people outside the Varna system, lower than all the rest. These are the Untouchables, also called Dalits. They were given the hardest, dirtiest work, the kind that could defile higher castes. For example, no one from the pure Varnas could skin a sacred cow. So that job went to the Dalits. Today, Indians don't follow caste lines so strictly when choosing a profession, especially among the higher castes. But among untouchables, it's still common for children to take up their parents' work. This tradition is strong among the washer caste. The most famous community works in Mumbai.
After washing the cloth, they dry inside of the spinner. This spinner like the zip, 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 and they put the cloth inside and it get dry. After drying here, they dry on an open space as well in the sunlight. But when it's monsoon, the business get down and they will only dry here and then they dry inside of the house. But they do not work as like this in a monsoon time. The business gets down in the monsoon time.
One of Mumbai's landmarks, the largest laundry district in India or even in the world, is Dhobi Ghat. Here, more than 700 families wash clothes every day. This work is done by the Dhobi caste, part of the Untouchables. Every day they wash, dry, and iron the city's clothes. From the outside, the laundry looks like a huge organized machine. Some receive the laundry, others wash it. Some hang it to dry and others iron it. On average, each dhobi handles more than 1,000 items a day. Most workers are men because it's hard, physical labor. First, the clothes are sorted, then soaked in special solutions. Each dhobi has his own recipe and his own workstation, usually a bathtub. After washing, the laundry is beaten against the tub's edge, rinsed and dried. These days, more and more use automatic washers and dryers. Even luxury hotels use this neighborhood services. It's cheaper than running washing machines, and the untouchable dhobi wash clothes just as well. So if you stay in a Mumbai hotel, the sheets, towels, and staff uniforms were probably washed by hand by a dhobi.
This man decided to follow in his father's and grandfather's footsteps. He's been working here for 20 years.
How old is he?
How old are you? 35? 30? 30. Ah, he's 32 years old.
That means he started at 12?
Yes, his relatives worked here and he started to work along them. People here work 18-20 hours a day. They sleep just 4 to 6 hours. They work all day and through the night. Sundays aren't a day off. They work every single day. Their only day off is Holi, the festival of colors in March. On this day, they don't work. Every other day, yes, non-stop. If I live in Mumbai, I can't just send my clothes here. Laundry comes in bulk, collected from commercial areas. Workers gather clothes across the neighborhoods, bring them here, then sort, label and wash them. Every clothes has a tag here, then they wash it here. In the past, it was scrubbed by hand in these tubs. Now, with new technology, special machines are also used. Here's how they warm the water. Hospital laundry is washed first in hot water because it's especially dirty, and only then in regular water.
Throughout the 20th century, untouchables fought for their rights. Today, caste discrimination is banned in India, but there's something called positive discrimination. The constitution recognizes registered castes and tribes. In 1950, lists were compiled of disadvantaged and historically oppressed groups. They included 74 tribes and 1,808 castes, once known as untouchables or Dalits. Registered groups receive quotas. For example, they must have seats in state parliaments, and spots are reserved for them in government offices and universities. Today, the quota is 22.5%. Thanks to access to education, many untouchables have built successful careers. In fact, India has twice elected presidents from the untouchable caste. The state protects them, but only in public, government-run places. So, a Dalit cannot be barred from using a municipal well or going to the cinema. But the owner of a private shop can still refuse to let them in. And so, this group of citizens is effectively deprived of basic human rights. The state protects them, but society still rejects them, especially in rural areas. Surprisingly, not all Dalits rush to use the quotas to change their lives. I asked the laundry workers in Mumbai why they never studied, and it turned out that they're content with this life. How much do you earn per month?
50,000. He earns 50,000 rupees.
15?
No, 50. If I worked for someone else, how much I'd earn? Only 20 to 30,000. He means that if he'd worked for someone else, he'd earn less. 20 to 25,000 rupees. So his own business brings in more. Yes, it's hard labor, but he chose it because it pays. There are simply too many people. And quotas cover only 25%. Only 25% can make use of the quotas. Besides, he doesn't have all the certificates required. And getting them isn't easy. It takes time and documents, and getting the documents is difficult. So he never studied. He didn't have money, so he decided to go for the work. There are 4 castes, but they know little about each other.
Is there discrimination against the lowest castes? For example, right here in this city.
I can't answer that. I don't know much about it.
Maybe we should ask them if there's discrimination.
They wouldn't be able to answer. If you ask them about it, they won't talk to you.
Why not?
They don't know about this system.
What does he think about discrimination? Can you ask him about discrimination against lower castes? Maybe he knows?
You know, there used to be a caste system with untouchables, right? Do you know anything about that? No, he doesn't know about it. He won't answer you.
You can't choose your caste, it's inherited. Even if a person changes profession, they remain part of their caste and are treated accordingly. To understand what life is really like for Dalits, I spoke with Bina Polikol, Secretary General of the National Campaign for Dalit Rights.
Just to put you in perspective, there are about 50,000 crimes registered every year just on Dalits, by the dominant caste, on Dalit caste, just to put it in perspective. They will not sit in the same chair with them. They will not eat food together.
And caste prejudice travels abroad.
In Cisco, in California, where a Dalit employee filed a case for discrimination against two of his reporting heads who come from the Indian dominant caste. Who actually called him caste slurs, who called him and did not promote him because of his caste, specifically saying that they didn't do it, calling him this caste name. So this practice is not only here, but the diaspora community takes it with them wherever they go in the world or globally.
Of course, caste isn't written in a passport and no one is obliged to reveal their origins. But the system has lasted so long, it's almost impossible to hide.
By 3 questions you can know where you come from. Many times we have also names that identify, but many people change names and put general names by the jobs that are, even if I'm educated, what my forefathers did, where I come from, which village I come from. So it's very easily identifiable. Not so much on features, because the features are the same like anybody else, any other caste, but it's mostly by name or where you come from and what you're doing. And also the kind of foods that we eat, Many of us eat either beef or pork, which is prohibited. The others don't eat. So some food practices also say where you come from. So these are some of the ways that they identify who Dalit is or who are these Dalits. Even if we lie, even if we change our name, even if we, there are cases where people have reached the highest ends of society where they still, if they know that they're Dalits, they still discriminate against them, because it doesn't matter even if you're educated, even if I speak, English and I'm dressed okay, it doesn't matter. My identity travels with me wherever I go, irrespective of the education.
If you climb up the caste hierarchy, just above the Untouchables are the Shudra castes, mostly servants working for those above them. For example, they were servants in homes, farmers, fishermen, or factory workers. The Shudra castes are very diverse. Some are quite wealthy farmers, but many are no better off than Dalits living in slums. Unlike the Untouchables, who are guaranteed quotas for work and education, the Shudras had no such privileges. Because of this, many in India criticized the quota system in unis, parliaments, and state-owned companies. For years, debates went on. What to do with other castes that were not on the list? In the end, another category was introduced: other backward classes. In essence, these were mostly Shudras. They received 27% of the reserved places in universities, parliaments, and state enterprises. And this was on top of the 22.5% already reserved for Dalits. But this created new problems. First, the higher castes opposed the policy. Second, many Shudra groups not included in the backward list were outraged. In 2016, members of the wealthy Jat farmer caste staged mass riots in Haryana, demanding quotas for themselves. They even reached the capital, blocking railway lines, damaging the water supply, leaving 10 million people in Delhi without water. 16 people were killed in those riots. It's hard to talk about the caste system with Indians if they belong to the higher Varnas. For example, our guide in Delhi is from the warrior caste, the second Varna called the Kshatriyas. He believes castes only matter in villages and small towns, while city people hold more modern views.
If you have a good education, you can work as a teacher, as a professor.
So you can be a teacher?
Yes, of course.
But you're from a military caste?
Yes, but now it's not important.
But human rights advocates insist for lower castes, it's still not easy to break free, especially if their caste is tied to dirty work. For example, cleaning toilets. Ironically, because of the lack of proper toilets in India, caste discrimination not only lasted for many years, it still continues today.
Yes, you can change, but there are still people where we have to acknowledge the intergenerational poverty, where I was a couple of years ago, I was with a group of women who are engaged in manual scavenging, who are cleaning toilets. And the children, between about 5 or 6 women, there were about 5 to 6 children there between the ages of 5 to 10. None of them have gone to school, because every time that they go to school, they say you're dirty, you can't enter the school, even in a public school, right? So in some parts that is still continuing, and also it depends on poverty, how poor they're not able to afford some of this. There's also when they go, if some of them, I asked one lady, why aren't you sending the child to school? And she said that no, every time that my child goes to school, they'll make fun of him. The teachers will make fun of him. The teachers will not allow, because he's a son of a lady who's cleaning the toilet.
In those days, there's a lot of caste-based discrimination in India. In rural India, the toilets were cleaned manually by people who came from the lowest strata of the caste hierarchy. They were called untouchables. The situation was so bad that the people at the higher end of the hierarchy, they would not even go under their shadows. They were not allowed to draw water from the same well. So they faced a lot of social and economic discrimination.
The most common stereotype about India is that it's terribly dirty, full of unsanitary conditions. Of course, the issue of sanitation is still far from solved, but India is trying. According to UNICEF, back in 2015, around 598 million people in India had no proper access to toilets. They relieved themselves in fields, rivers, or simply right on the streets. That's almost half the population of the country. But in just 4 years, that number dropped by 450 million. Mostly thanks to the construction of public toilets in cities. So let's see how clean Delhi really is. I have no idea about public toilets here, but judging by the smell, people don't seem to worry much about that. This is what traffic looks like. And if you care about accessibility, India is definitely not the place for you. As you can see, things are pretty grim. By the way, this is how they carry suitcases here. And over there, they're selling fruit, right?
Yeah, bananas, papayas.
It's complete chaos on the road. People are leaving the station with their luggage. Tuk-tuks everywhere. Someone right in the middle of the road is trying to climb into a minibus. Because of that, the whole road is blocked. What's going on? Honestly, I have no idea. Let's go inside the station and check out the famous Indian trains. The station, it's pure, raw Indian life. You could film here all day. Isn't that something you do?
Yes.
There were so many people here and they all jumped up and rushed to the platform. I feel like there's about to be a stampede for the train. Just so you understand, the tracks here are literally covered in shit. There are layers of rust and grime in different colors. Here comes the train. Some people are even standing on the far side of the platform, waiting to jump on from the other side. They're cheaters. They want to sneak in from there. The train's coming. Where are you going? But hey, that's normal. They'll be right in the front row. People are about to start jumping onto the train while it's still moving. Let's head over to where the men are. The women tend to be more cautious. Whoever makes it first gets a seat. All right, get ready. By the time the train comes to a full stop at the platform, it'll already be about 80% full. Because most people don't wait, they get on while it's still moving. So if you're elderly or weak, you either manage to jump on like this while it's in motion, or you're out of luck. Everyone's here with kids shouting, "Open up, open up!" And then it begins the wildest rush. Forget about women and children, it's pure chaos. Whoever squeezed in made it. Dude, you look like the last one. And here comes another commuter train, crammed full of people. This is what they look like inside. Pretty modest. You can't breathe in there. Each carriage has a little sign showing how many seats it has. Usually it says 40, but in reality, at least 3 times as many people. A bench meant for 3 has 6 people squashed onto it. People are sitting practically on top of each other. It's basically one big compartment, completely overflowing with people. No way to tell how many there are. And the heat, the humidity inside. It's so bad the camera lens fogs up. Now let me show you another popular way to get around India. Some people think if they hop into a cycle rickshaw, they'll get through traffic faster. Big mistake. Rickshaws sit in the exact same traffic jams. And traffic in Delhi, it's a disaster. The only way to really move around efficiently is on foot or by subway, but the subway isn't that great either. The network isn't very big and often inconvenient. So in the evenings especially, the whole city just grinds to a halt. Sometimes you can't even walk because the sidewalks are packed with people too. It's chaos, pure nightmare. But here's how you can get around when it's that busy. Buy these posts. Now's the perfect time to like this video. YouTube loves your likes. Don't be lazy, hit that little button. And as a thank you, here's a taste of the incredible atmosphere of Delhi at night. Of course, you get tired pretty quickly. The constant honking, the fumes, the noise, the endless bustle. At first it's exciting, but after a while you just want to meditate. And if you really do want to meditate, there's no better place for that than Varanasi. Varanasi is the capital of death. Every single day, thousands of the sick, the elderly, the frail come here from all across India to die on the banks of the Ganges and escape the wheel of samsara. Hindus believe that anyone who dies in this holy city is freed from the cycle of rebirth and goes straight to heaven. Here on the Ghats of the Ganges, funeral pyres have been burning continuously for thousands of years. Here, life and death stand so close to each other that you stop being surprised by corpses drifting in the river and people bathing in the very same water. Here, according to legend, is where the cycle of reincarnation is broken, where eternal peace is found. Along the river banks are the Ghats, places for cremation and ritual washing. I spoke with one of the men who works at the cremation grounds.
Closer family member of the house, like a wife die husband, mother die younger son, father die older son, go to the barber place, shaving the hair, mustache, beard. Then family buy the wood from the wood shop, like from our shop, from the other 11 shop. They will buy the wood like a 200 kg, up to 200 kg of wood, up to 200 to 300 kg.
They for to burn one body, 200.
Yeah, they buy the wood. Then worker people, the Dalit family worker people, they preparing the bed. Then body let down on the bed. Then family create fire. Here no using petrol, no matches, no gas, no kerosene, no gasoline. Between there they will buy little bit sandalwood, there they will buy little bit ghee. And after that, family can afford, they can pay more than lakh. They can just cremate it in sandalwood, which is the most expensive food in our Hinduism.
But not everyone can be cremated in Varanasi. There are exceptions.
You know which body no cremation?
I think it's kids.
Kids.
It's pregnant women.
Yes.
Also
A small baby.
small baby.
Pregnant woman. Holy man sadhu. Beaten by cobra.
Bitten by cobra.
Animals and leprosy. This kind of the body, we take a heavy stone, wrap the body tight, body put on the boat, bring middle Ganga, body sink in the river. A small baby not burning because of innocence, pregnant woman not burning because of innocence, holy man sadhu, no marriage, no Kama Sutra, no wife, no related. Bitten by cobra, cobra is the necklace of the Shiva, there is a much poison. Leprosy, if you burn town area, city area, people here, they smell be sick. Animal symbol to God. So this all body already pure, they don't need to be purification. So this all body holy river.
Okay. If you want to make a ceremony here, do you need to make any reservation or?
No, not any kind. You can come 24/7 anytime. And who people die here, who people cremated here.
So there's no line. So in any time, even in night, morning, and
24/7.
Of course, after all this, there can be no talk of cleanliness in the Ganges, but India's most sacred river became the dirtiest one, not only because of the corpses. A few words about toilets. See this water here? These are the toilets. Here, for example, is an open toilet where people just come in and pee. Naturally, all of it flows straight down with the appropriate smell. And down below, there are people sitting, simply enjoying the view. And the smell of urine, that awful stench. From time to time, someone comes and bathes right here. And no one seems bothered at all by these local toilets. As you know, the Ganges is far from the cleanest river. People dump waste into it. People literally use it as a toilet. People bathe in it. And corpses are sent into it as well. You can calmly sail along in a boat, and a decomposing body might just drift past. But recently, Indian authorities have begun worrying about ecology. Even here, where for centuries nobody cared. Where the environment was never even on the agenda, now there are floating garbage collectors on the river, machines that skim large debris from the water, mostly sandals, candles, ritual offerings, and of course everyday garbage, of which there is plenty. But sometimes bodies also get caught in them. So while the Ganges may not actually be getting cleaner, at least visually, it looks a bit less polluted than before. But that's not the only change in Varanasi. In the chase for profit, local authorities decided to break centuries-old traditions. For hundreds of years, the opposite bank of the Ganges was considered the place where souls of the dead would depart. Now, it's waiting for tourists.
Last year, they built a 5-star tent hotel there, and of course, everyone was shocked. How can this be?
Hotel in a cemetery?
It's not exactly a cemetery, but it is a place where, after sunset, nobody would ever cross the river because it's believed that souls travel there. And now, absurdity.
Oh wow, during the ceremony, boats with ads started sailing by. It's pure disgrace. I've already told you about the Untouchables and shown you the city of Brahmin priests. It's time to go to Kshatriyas, where real warriors lived. One of the city's symbols is the Palace of the Winds. It is 5 stories tall and has nearly 1,000 tiny windows, 953 openings, creating a fantastic natural ventilation system. And that's why this building is called the Palace of Wands. It's the symbol of the city, the most beautiful, the most magnificent building. It's built in the shape of Krishna's crown. Notice how the whole city is made of pink sandstone. It's stunning. And here, this building is the very first hotel built here. Across from it is the local library. Along the palace, there are ancient little stalls where people both live and sell things. It's impossible to tell what's going on. And to the right is a never-ending stream of tuk-tuks, motorcycles, and the occasional car, all struggling to survive in this chaos. The street food here is incredible. Something fried in old oil looks like chicken. Looks beautiful, but not exactly appetizing. And just look at these palaces. Luxurious decorations, every wall is painted. Possibly the strangest lamppost I've ever seen. And more amazing Indian street food. Something's being molded, fried, eaten right there on the street. Wonderful. And so we enter the palace. Look at this beauty, especially these ancient gates, truly ancient. Why are you honking, for God's sake? Most importantly, behind the gates, there's a convenient public toilet where people go for a poo, but that won't stop us from enjoying the beauty of Jaipur Palace. As you can see, people don't worry too much about cleanliness. Some places are just covered in poo, because they just are. Other places seem clean. But then there are pigeons, and they shut on everything that people haven't already managed to. Goats, traffic jams, endless commotion. On one hand, it all seems awful, dirty, ugly. But on the other hand, it's not so bad. Because this is the real attraction. They could have made something polished, plastic, artificial, like so many other countries do. But here it's just real life. People literally live on the streets. So many beggars, so many homeless. Real, authentic old buildings. No double-glazed windows, no air conditioners. Children chasing you, begging for money. This is real life. Incredible beauty, all these galleries. The chaos, the broken roads. and a policeman just standing there for no apparent reason. This is a pedestrian crossing, and you can still get run over by a motorcycle. If people were riding donkeys or horses here, you could honestly think you'd landed in the Middle Ages. Members of the warrior caste are easy to recognize by their headgear. Many still wear their traditional turbans. These days, any tourist can buy one in Jaipur. But back then, that would have been considered an insult. For a Rajput, a turban is not just a headdress. On the road, it was a pillow, a towel. It was used to draw water from a well, and even to filter it if it was dirty. The turban was also a symbol of inheritance. When the head of a clan died, on the 12th day after his death, his turban was tied to the head of the eldest son. And just like that, he became the new leader. Turbans come in many colors. White for funerals and mourning. Yellow for the bravest warriors. And for grooms on their wedding day. Orange and red meant the wearer was deeply religious. Here's a craftsman making turbans right on the roof. And here's another shop. Turbans hanging in clusters from the eaves, looking beautiful. Now we've arrived at one of Jaipur's main attractions, Amber Fort. What's fascinating is that it hasn't been restored. So you can walk around and see the original walls as they've survived to this day. That's exactly what we'll do. India has its own version of the Great Wall. Running along the ridges of the hills around Jaipur is a stunning wall. Here are the palace labyrinths. Cleverly designed passages for fighting enemies. Endless staircases in every direction. Honestly, it looks like a great place to play paintball. This looks like a toilet, not even sure. Someone went for a poo inside an architectural monument. That's the local attitude to historical heritage. Nobody cares. They put a diesel generator right up against the fortress walls. Drain pipes are falling off. Water has been damaging the stone for years. Still nobody cares. Some places are piled with trash covered with filth. Everything here is real. There's no polish, no neatness, like Europeans love to arrange. No ribbons, no signs telling you don't step here, walk only there. Everything is so neat here. Nope, this is real life. Trash scattered around in the corners. And such Indian beauty. If you love animals, Jaipur is a must. There's a massive tiger reserve nearby, and in the city itself you'll run into elephants and monkeys. Are these elephants owned by locals?
Yes, they're just walking home.
Why are they on the road? Is it safe?
It's perfectly safe. It's wedding season now, that's all.
Something tells me this isn't quite right. At least from the perspective of animal welfare. Because elephants stuck in traffic, horns blaring all around, they must be terrified. An unbelievable number of monkeys. Some guy shows up and starts throwing food at them. Not sure it's the best idea, but the monkeys seem happy enough. We're warned that monkeys can attack. A monkey eating a banana. How cute! So many monkeys here.
Yes.
What do they eat? Nuts or?
Yes, nuts. Try one.
Ah, it's corn, isn't it?
Try it, try it.
Ah, I see.
Go on, try it. It's strong stuff.
They feed the monkeys here. So that's why there are so many of them. Every branch covered with them. Big monkeys, little monkeys. This is India, unique, unlike anywhere else. Some people are shocked by the filth, the garbage, the slums, and the medieval traditions that still live on. Others come away in awe at the monuments, at the nature. Others come seeking spirituality. As for me, I came to show you everything as it really is. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like.